Okay, we still have more people coming on, but I am going to go ahead and get started and introduce our speaker for today. I am so pleased to have with us Kevin Dumcum with the Arizona at Work, which has got all kinds of innovative workforce solutions through the Department of Economic Security. But I also want to thank our partners, the Ahwatukee Foothills Chamber of Commerce, the Apache Junction Chamber of Commerce, the Carefree Cave Creek Chamber of Commerce, the Chandler Chamber of Commerce, Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce, Gilbert Chamber of Commerce, Queen Creek Chamber of Commerce, and the Tempe Chamber of Commerce. So thank you so much for all the chambers participating in this. This is critical as we continue to provide resources as our businesses move forward. So Kevin, I am going to turn this program right over to you to get started, because I know you have got some valuable information for us.
Well, thank you, Carrie, and I'm very happy to be here to share some information about Arizona at Work and some of the services that we have and how we are aligning, particularly in light of the current economic downturn that we are all facing. So I titled my presentation this morning, Connecting Talent with Opportunities. That's basically what we do. That's basically our mission, is how do we put the right talent in front of the right employer so that there's a match. If you go to the next slide, please. So by way of starting, I do need to get into the weeds just for a little bit and talk about how we are funded, and because that informs what we do. So we are funded through the federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It's a federal grant coming from the Department of Labor, and this was put into place in July of 2015, and this replaced the Workforce Investment Act of 1998, which replaced the Job Training Act of the 1970s, and on and on and on. There has been a workforce development program in place since 1933, President Roosevelt's New Deal. It always receives bipartisan support, and it's always with a mission of we have job seekers who are looking for opportunities. We have businesses who are looking for job seekers. Can we make a match? So we are federally funded through taxpayer dollars. So all of our services are at no additional cost. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act was a complete rewrite of the Workforce Investment Act. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time except to say that the biggest emphasis of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act is on businesses. It recognizes that the best way that we can help a job seeker is by aligning their skills with the needs of
Kevin, you're glitching a little bit. You're cutting out. So I don't know if you have a cell phone or something close to your computer. All right, can you hear me now? Kevin, can you hear me?
How to fix this.
You were cutting out there for a little bit.
Is this better?
That is better.
Or not better? Okay. Let's go on to the next slide. So under the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, it's also important to understand that it funds local workforce development areas. And within the greater Phoenix region, there are actually two areas. So the city of Phoenix itself is a local area. We are Maricopa County. We take the balance of Maricopa, both East Valley and West Valley. And I share that to say that whether you go to a Maricopa County office or go to a City of Phoenix office, you will receive the same services, but they will be a little bit of a different flavor because we do have our separate funding and we do have our separate management although we try to stay as coordinated as possible. I imagine most of you on the call right now are East Valley. The closest office that we have for you would be our office at Gilbert Road in Guadalupe. We are designated as a essential business, an essential service. So our career centers are still open, although we are practicing social distancing. We are practicing limiting groups to small groups, enhanced environmental cleaning, and that type of thing. So what I would strongly encourage is contact us by phone before you come in and see if we can provide service that way, or reach out to us through one of our websites, arizonaatwork.com or maricopa.gov/find-a-job. Next slide, please. So I am the Business Services Team Supervisor for Arizona at Work Maricopa County. So within Business Services, our basic function is how do we promote the employer's openings? And we do that either by referring candidates to your website, by referring them to our website, by getting you registered on our website, sharing flyers, sharing information about your openings, about your hiring events, whatever we can do to get your information in front of job seekers who are looking for you. We can provide pre-screening of candidates based on our understanding of your needs. So we will have a very in-depth discussion with you as an employer to understand what it is that you are looking for. And then we can pre-screen candidates and only forward those to you who meet your basic qualifications. Doing our in-person career fairs. We look forward to the day when we can resume those, but we don't know when that will be. In the meantime, we are putting into place a number of different ways that we can have virtual career fairs, virtual hiring events, whether that would be a single point in time with a Zoom type of technology, whether that would be over the course of a few days, whether that would be an employer panel with question and answer, whether it's a single employer who just wants to use the technology to screen candidates. So we're looking at a number of different ways that we can create virtual career fairs and hiring events in order to get us through this current situation. The hope is that once we get this figured out and in place, this becomes an enhanced tool that we can keep ongoing even as we are able to resume some sort of new normal, whatever that new normal will look like. Next slide, please. So where are the jobs today? I pulled some labor market information. This is accurate as of yesterday. And I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but a couple that I want to point out to you is that as of yesterday, there are 7,790 employers in Maricopa County who have open positions. Those 7,790 reflect 56,000 job postings. Now, those job postings may be for a single position, or many of them are for multiple positions. So the number of true openings is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 80,000 openings in Maricopa County today. Now, I will say that when we pulled this on March 2nd, that number was closer to 12,000 employers and 100 to 120,000 openings. So it is substantially fewer positions open today than it was 2 months ago. But I also want to point out that that number is far greater than zero. There are employers who are hiring today. There are employers who have openings. So we are still working to identify who those employers are and get talent in front of them so that the employer can continue on with their business. Next slide, please. As a result of the economic downturn and the public health crisis, my team and all of the Arizona at Work locations across the state did a very aggressive outreach to all of the employers that we have access to ask them who is hiring today? Are you hiring today? And we have created a very simple list When I say simple, it's up to over 25 pages right now, but it's a very simple list of employers who have openings today who are hiring. So candidates, job seekers, can go to arizonaatwork.com, and on the home page there is a link where they can download this list. This list is segmented by city. So presumably most job seekers are going to be looking for employment opportunities within their immediate area, so they can go directly to the city and find out who is hiring today. They all have links, so you can go to the company's website or wherever else they have posted their job descriptions to see whether you basically qualify, and if so, you can apply and see if you can make a match that way. Next slide, please. Our main website continues to be azjobconnection.gov. This is our statewide labor exchange system. So this is our job board. It also doubles as our case management system, but for job seekers, primarily it's our job board. So we encourage job seekers to create accounts on azjobconnection.gov. We encourage job seekers to create full accounts, including their full experience, their qualifications. We also encourage employers to post their positions on azjobconnection.gov. We can help employers do that so that we can make a match. There are people like me who go into azjobconnection.gov every day on behalf of employers and screen resumes to make a match for employers. So you can see the numbers. This is current as of yesterday. The number of available job openings, about 71,000. That takes into account some of these that do have multiple openings. Right now, there's only 29,000 resumes for those 71,000 positions. So if you are a job seeker, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to find a good opportunity with little competition, the 29,000 versus the 70,000. If you are an employer, this is not the only tool that we use. Now, we do a lot of outreach with all of our community partners. We do a lot of outreach directly to job seekers. So you're not just limited to these 29,000 job seekers who are in this system, but this is our labor exchange system, and it is no cost. azjobconnection.gov. We encourage businesses and job seekers both to register on this site. Next slide, please. So our rapid response services is our layoff assistance services. And you might imagine this has been what has been consuming most of our time over the last several weeks. So as businesses get into a situation where they need to downsize, RIF, layoff, furlough, we want to get in front of those businesses as quickly as possible. First of all, to see if there's anything that we can do or any service that we can provide that would reduce the need for a layoff. So we have a couple of tools. One of them is our shared work program. Shared work is a function of unemployment insurance, where instead of laying off, if a company can reduce hours across their staff, then unemployment can pick up a prorated portion of those hours that were lost. So it's not a dollar for dollar replacement, but again, it's greater than zero, and it's an opportunity for employers to avoid a layoff. So if any business wants more information about the shared work program, please reach out and we'll have that discussion or share more information about that. Other layoff aversion techniques would be to suggest that businesses reach out to their local chambers, reach out to their local city representatives to see what they have. We have the flyers and the information for things like the Payroll Protection Program, the CARES Act. We are not the administrators of those programs, so we cannot help process applications or anything like that. But we have the flyers that describe the programs, and we have the links where you can go to apply. So those types of things that we try to do in order to help a business avoid a layoff in the first place. Frankly, though, by the time they get to us, most of the time the employer has already got to the point where they need to lay off. In that case, we do try to get in front of the affected individuals so that we can provide some job search skills, some employability workshops. Now, again, I put a star next to this one because our preferred method, and up until March 2nd, we would go to the employer site and we would meet their employees in the employee break room or wherever else was a large room, and we would share our employability workshops on resume writing, interview skills, how to search for jobs, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, since everybody is social distancing, that's something that we're not able to do currently, but we have put a lot of our workshops online. So they are available, and we're looking at ways to provide these services virtually. Among the services or among the information that we share is information about unemployment insurance, how to apply, what to expect when you apply, how to file your weekly claim, what happens when you do, and that's the service that we continue to provide for job seekers who have been laid off. We love to get the job descriptions of the positions that have been laid off so that we can start farming them out to other employers. There are employers, as I showed earlier, there are employers who are hiring and who are looking for this talent. So even though a lot of the layoffs, probably 60% of the layoffs currently are in food service, hospitality, they all have good customer service skills. There are employers who are looking for candidates with good customer service skills. We would love to get those candidates in front of employers who are hiring. If we can get the job descriptions of the affected positions, we can start farming them out to prospective employers, and we can put together a reverse job fair where employers are meeting only with these individuals who are being laid off by this company. It's not an open job fair that we blast out and make it available for the general public. It's very specifically for these affected individuals with employers who have positions that align and match up with the talent that is being released. So our rapid response services, as I said, has been something that's been consuming us for the past several weeks. At last count in Arizona, we have received 90 warns, work adjustment and retraining notifications for companies that are laying off. But we know that those 90 represent probably only about 10% of the candidates who have actually been laid off when we compare those numbers with the number of new unemployment insurance claimants. The latest number I heard about that is we're up to about 300,000 newly unemployed in Arizona. Now, many of those are furloughs. Many of those are companies that hope to be able to reclaim some of that talent when we resume some sort of new normal. But like everybody, we don't know what that new normal is going to look like or when it may happen. So we are treating each individual based on where they're at, and we're doing everything that we can to help them find new employment opportunities that match their skills, match their needs, so that they can continue to provide for themselves and their families. Next slide, please. Now, we are an employment program. We're not a training program, but one of the services that we do have is the ability to, in some cases, for some job seekers, help them to go through occupational skill training, vocational training, where they can add a skill, add a certificate that aligns with the current market need within Maricopa County so that they can become employable. Now, again, we are an employment service, so if you are a candidate with an advanced degree, with a good work history and a good likelihood of finding a new job, we're going to help you find a job. But if you are a candidate whose occupation has been dead-ended, if you are a candidate whose occupation is prone to these layoffs, and you're looking to do something different or to build upon your experience, then we can talk to you about the potential for short-term vocational training that leads to a nationally recognized certification that would be in demand within our local area, so that a local area employer would be able to take you on and have you join their teams. Next slide, please. The biggest skill need that we hear from employers continue to be the soft skills. Employers tell us that they can train the technical aspect of their positions if they can find candidates who are trainable. So about 2.5 years ago, the state of Arizona rolled out the Arizona Career Readiness Credential, the ACRC. And this assesses a candidate, a job seeker, on 7 hard and soft skills. And it assigns a candidate a level so that you can add this to your resume that you are a bronze level or a silver level on the ACRC. Then we, as business services representatives for Arizona at Work, meet with employers and we talk about what that means. If you find a candidate with a bronze level or a silver level, what does that mean for you? What comfort level does that give you that this candidate would be trainable, that you could bring them on, that they have the aptitude, but maybe not the background, but you can train them for what you need them to do. This is a no-cost service. It is a proctored exam. It is something that we continue to provide at our career centers. We encourage all of our job seekers to go through this because it sets them apart from job seekers in the general population. We're also talking with businesses, and if any businesses are on the line right now and you're looking for more information about this, my contact information is at the end of the presentation. I'd be happy to share information about the Arizona Career Readiness Credential and how it can benefit your business. Next slide. So within Arizona at Work, one of our mandates is to serve the hardest to serve and is to provide priority of service to those who are most deserving. So we always have a priority of service for military veterans and families of military veterans. What that means is if there's ever a line for any of our services, military veterans always get bumped at the beginning of the line to receive our services. We also have special dedicated services for young adults, age 16 to 24. Many of them are looking for their first job or their first career opportunity. And we have a specific focus on what we call disconnected youth, those who are not working and also not in school. So perhaps they never finished their high school classes. We can help them with GED so that they then have a greater likelihood of career success for the rest of their lives. We have specific programs for those in the reentry programs, those who are being released from prison, who are on probation and parole, who are looking to move on with their lives. We have special programs we call the Strengthening Working Families Initiative and TUGEN. These are for working parents. They are similar in nature. They have some differences in application, but primarily working families, parents of young children, and how we can support them as they go through training so that they can go onto a career path. And then partnered hiring events, always looking to work with other agencies, our nonprofits, our NGOs, working with businesses who are looking for new ways to promote their openings so that we can get them in front of qualified talent. Next slide, please. I mentioned a little bit ago the website maricopa.gov/find-a-job. This is our new virtual access for services that we are encouraging all job seekers to use. When they go to maricopa.gov/find-a-job, the first several questions are specific to their contact information. How can we get back in touch with you? But then they tell us, what service are you looking for? Tell us what service you're looking for, and then someone will get back to them to provide that service. Now, if you need computer access to apply for jobs, we'll probably have you come into our center. We'll let you know where our centers are located, what hours we're open, that type of thing. But for most other services, we can provide this remote and virtually so that a job seeker can do this from home. They don't need to travel. They don't need to come into our career center. And they can spend as much time as they need working with one of our staff who will be reaching out to them to provide the service that they're asking for. Next slide. So my call to action for everybody on the call today, if you are a business and if you are at risk of laying off, or if you are a business and you are hiring, we want to talk to you. We would love to provide services for you, and especially if you're hiring, we would love to get your opportunities in front of job seekers. If you are laying off, we would love to get in front of your job seekers to let them know about new opportunities. And you can reach us at Maricopa County Business Services at maricopa.gov, and then someone will get back to you very shortly. If you are a job seeker, we encourage you to contact us through the website, maricopa.gov/find-a-job, the slide I just showed you. Next slide, please. And that was a very, very, very brief description of some of the services that we have. I hope it gave you a pretty good overview of some of the things that we can offer. And at this point, I can answer questions.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We put back the slide we had the contact information. Can we go back one slide there? Okay, so that people can then write that down as we're talking. So Kevin, we actually have several questions. The first one is, I want to make sure that everybody knows that in Apache Junction, there's the AJ Empowerment System serving Pinal County as well. I appreciate you doing that shout out. So let's get to some of the questions that we have. So the first one is, if we did not anticipate the total impact on our business and the results of no income back at the beginning of our closures, and we just filed for unemployment for survival purposes, will our unemployment backdate to the time when we were first shut down or March 15th? And I think that that's probably, is that a question for your services team or?
Yeah, I have to say that I am not the unemployment insurance expert. So the last thing I want to do is give an answer that would be incorrect. All I can say is that the unemployment insurance, the Department of Economic Security, they are backed up, as every state is backed up because of the overwhelming number of claimants. I know that there have been some challenges for people to apply. I know there have been some challenges for people to get connected. My best advice is keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. If you miss a particular date, keep filing, and then someone will get back to you and will talk to you about your specific situation. Unfortunately, I'm not the expert, so I don't know that I would be able to answer the specific question.
But they can, on the links that are on the screen, they can go ahead and email that directly to that.
Yes, so, yes, and we'll find someone who can get back to them, yes.
Perfect. And then the next one is, will you be covering the links to apply? And that's all right here. And then another one is for, please share the links again. We've got that up there. Let's see, we've got a couple, again, about the links. For those trying to navigate filing for unemployment, do you provide that assistance?
So unemployment insurance is a function of the Department of Economic Security through the state of Arizona. We are co-located, or they are co-located with us at our center.
Oh, you're cutting out. Kevin. There we go. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. So unemployment insurance is a function of the Department of Economic Security through the state of Arizona. And it's not something that Maricopa County really has any control over. Department of Economic Security is co-located with Maricopa County at our career centers in both Gilbert and in Glendale. So if anyone were to come in, they could talk to someone from DES. But again, the best that we can do is give them the links and encourage them to apply. We do have our computer labs where people can come in if they lack computer access to actually apply. We have fax machines, we have phones that people can use to call. Although I have to also say that the phone lines are very busy. So I know DES is encouraging everybody to apply online. We do have the computers, like I said, that you can come in and apply online. We have the links, but we would defer all of those questions to the Department of Economic Security.
Okay. We've got a It says these are not the links. What is the Department of Economic Security's link for the case for the CARES Act employment?
I would have to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
I'm jotting a note.
Okay, and then we can go ahead and push that out.
Sure.
It says, here's another one. It's been a challenge to promote WIOA services to unemployers and employees that are laid off before we know that they are. How is WMC connecting with employees that have already left that employment?
And that is a great question, and that is a challenge that we're facing as well. So once a company has laid off, the candidates are already out. So a couple things that we're doing is, first of all, trying to work with the company's HR department if the company's HR department also has not been laid off. We're finding that's also happening. But if we can get a hold of the company HR, asking them to share information on our behalf, we do not expect that a company would just give us a list of phone numbers and emails, and we would not want that. But if the company could reach out to their affected individuals, those who were impacted by the layoff, and share information on our behalf, we're trying to do that. We're also promoting our services through social media. We're promoting our services through events such like this, and just asking to help spread the word. But the question is really one of our challenges right now. The economic impact or the economic downturn has happened so quickly that so many people are being laid off before we even hear about the layoff. And that continues to be a challenge. Social media, email.
Okay. And then can you please provide your contact info? And so, Kevin, is this the best way somebody can get a hold of you, or do they go to that arizonaatwork.com/Maricopa or / whatever their county is?
So if you're looking for general services from Arizona at Work, I would go to arizonaatwork.com, and then there's a link for your local area. If you're within Maricopa County, Pinal County, wherever you are. My contact information is actually 2 slides past this, and I'd be happy to field any calls or emails from anybody. My email is my name, kevin.dumcum@maricopa.gov. That's my cell phone because I'm also working from home more often than not. 602-715-3227. Happy to take any call or answer any questions if anyone wants to reach out directly.
Okay, this may not be a question for Kevin, but just looking for direction. Are small business owners able to apply for unemployment? I've applied, but a letter came back saying that I wasn't eligible. Kevin, where would be the best place that we could get that answer?
My hesitancy is again because the new federal legislation that's coming through the Payroll Protection Plan and the CARES Act and some of the new things that are being discussed right now may change the answer. So again, I don't have a great answer. My best advice right now is to apply for unemployment if you were denied, to appeal that denial, and then that hopefully would give you someone that you could have a discussion with when they reach out to you to resolve the appeal. What I do know about the CARES Act is that it does extend unemployment insurance to self-employed individuals. What I'm not quite sure about is the definition of self-employed. Would that be business owners, or is that the gig employers, or the gig employees, those who are the Uber drivers and the Grubhub delivery people and that type of thing? My best advice: apply for unemployment. If you get denied, apply again, appeal, and then get someone to react to that.
Okay. So there is, on the Arizona Department of Economic Security website, there is a spot where you can go and check the status of your claim. and the number for that is, or the listing is AZUI Internet Weekly Claim .azdes.gov, and then you put in your social security number, and then it kind of tracks where they're at in the process. And I will go ahead and get that out and attach that to these slides as well. And then I also want to touch on Arizona at Work for Pinal County. Has 800 numbers established for employers and job seekers. And inquire just as you're doing about services, because I know that you're the business service team supervisor. But that number for Pinal County is 800-409-6153 for businesses, and then 800-409-5153 for impacted employees. So thank you for that information.
Great.
So we will go ahead. I know that these are a little bit obviously challenging times for all of us and just trying to navigate the systems. And Kevin, I just really want to thank you for all that you're doing and helping to get people reemployed pretty quickly. Also, a bigger component, because we are chambers of commerce and we represent businesses, how for us to navigate that and how our businesses can navigate that system. Because sometimes we don't want to end up in that big old black hole either. So thank you for that. So I appreciate you taking your time today, and we'll keep this information up, and then we'll go ahead and get these out to our chamber partners. And if I can do another shout out to the Ahwatukee Foothills, Apache Junction, Carefree Cave Creek, Chandler, Pine Hills, Gilbert, Pine Creek, and Tempe Chambers of Commerce for your support and participation. I think this is great information. We have been in contact with the new, since the Senate has passed the new payroll protection, additional monies that are coming that people will be eligible for, as well as the EIDL programs. Hopefully the House will approve that today, later this afternoon, and then get that on the President's desk as soon as possible so that we can get another round of funding. With that being said, once that next round of funding has been released, SBA will be able to come back on and join us on these weekly sessions and hopefully give us additional directions. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for Arizona at Work.
Good to be here. Thank you for having us.